Is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, closet swing traders. Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Hope you guys are enjoying free week. If you guys are for anybody that was here yesterday for free week, type a quick one in the chat if you absolutely loved it, found it valuable, found some useful information somewhere throughout the day. Woo, the ones pouring in, I love it. BEA, beautiful. We got Alex in the house. Good morning to you. Amy, we got B. We got B.Matt, good morning to you. We got B Rabbit. No, I'm just kidding. We don't have B Rabbit, but good morning to Bill. We got Bill S. We got another Bill. All the Bills are here. We got Bob. Good morning to Bounty Hunter. I'm kind of scared of you, to be honest. I don't know who you chasing right now, but just let me know if you're close so I can hide somewhere. We got Brian in the house. Good morning to Brian Reppel. We got Carlin. Good morning, Carolyn, Cindy, Daniel, David, J, DC, Devin. Good morning to Erica. Gabri, did I say that right? Gina guessed the closing price yesterday. Oh man, she got a free $50,000 trading account yesterday. Incredible. We got Ivo. Good morning to Jax, Jay, Gene, Joe, Joel, Jolene. Oh, that's a good song. I don't know how you feel about the song, but I think it's all right. JT, good morning. We got Kevin, Lars. Lars, I haven't seen you in a while, Lars. Good morning to you. We got Leon, Lily, Lauren, Mark, Martina, Michael B, Mike Griffin, Marielle, so many names. I can't even finish the list. Otherwise, I'm just going to run out of time. But good morning to everybody. Good morning to all you guys. Hope you guys are doing absolutely incredible. We got, Paige is here. Good morning to Paige. Man, you guys get me super psyched and pumped. All right, so let's take a look real quick at the markets as we do every single day. And for all my peeps in YouTube land, appreciate you being there. Make sure you guys hit the like, subscribe. But also, on a side note, you can just go to reallifetrading.com and you could just hang out with us all day today. Otherwise, I do stop the feed at 9:30 in YouTube land. SPY, a little bit of a gap down. We do have the earnings starting to pour in. So there's probably just a lot of companies that we could look at today. There is, I think, just over 2,800 companies reporting this week, and they got started a little bit today. So from what we learned back when was it Nvidia and even Tesla, I think, but back when they reported, we started to see the very early signs that we're still reporting good earnings company wise, but in the short term, stocks are a voting machine, right? They're a short-term voting machine. In the long term, they're a weighing machine. So some people get very bullish during certain times, drives the price a little bit too much. And a lot of times when you see these run-ups where we just have crazy run-ups into earnings, they have to come out and a lot of times just absolutely dominate earnings beyond belief to keep up with expectation as to what traders are thinking this company is going to do, right? Or these companies are going to do. So we're seeing a lot of companies that are not doing bad on earnings, but we are getting some of the pullback. Sometimes, like I drew this one in the, what time was it? 4 to 5 p.m. Long term, this is what stocks typically do, especially, obviously, if it's a fake company or garbage company or something like that, you might not have it. But for the most part, a good growing company should look like this. But we know this happens. This is actually what happens in the stock market, right? So sometimes, the price is overvalued from what the company is. Sometimes it's undervalued, right? And it just goes back and forth. But on average, this is what you're doing. So the question now is, for a lot of the companies reporting, they're not coming in too bad. There's a couple misses, but for the most part, a lot of beats, at least earnings per share. Some companies did miss on revenues, but when a stock goes like this without any pullbacks, without anything, the bench becomes a lot higher for people to sell. So if you see, like, if you have any stocks that you own and you're watching the earnings and you're like, man, this company just beat like crazy and people are selling, it's usually, look at the chart, it's probably something like this, right? People are going to want to ring the register eventually to get some kind of a pullback. Is this the beginning of a much bigger pullback? I don't know. I don't even know how far this one goes, to be honest. Technically, we're still sitting in this big red day. Still a troublesome candle. We're hanging in there, surviving. But usually when you have these gap ups or run ups, then you have the gap up, big major sell. This is still a bearish engulfing candle. We just didn't really break down. We got saved one time off that 10 EMA. And yesterday we put in a decent day. August typically a little bit slower for volume. You probably will get a little bit more chop in August, September as well. Um, September starts to pick up a little bit more in volume though. So I think this August is the one we got to deal with a lot, but huge volume. So again, I am watching this candle. If this one breaks down at all, in terms of where we called for targets yesterday, we were pretty much spot on, right? We were looking for somewhere in this zone. We got right up in there. We blew through it for 1 point, got smacked right back down. And today is a bearish gap and go on the overall SPY. Is it going to be the easiest short day ever? At least for the market. Maybe some companies might be different. But right now, the SPY does have a little level of support. We'll see where this thing opens in 24 minutes. And below that, if we're able to break, probably somewhere in the, let's see what price that is. First target, which is essentially where we're at now, 455.98. If we slip a little bit more, I think we could get down to 450, 452. And then a very bad sell day, I think would take us to 452.82. So those are my targets. If we get closes underneath this candle, it's not going to look very, very good at all. And we, again, probably pull back. Is it the big one that everyone's looking for? I don't know. I don't think so. I can't say that yet, but it will be something just to watch and caution. Ron's got all the stocks in there today. Okay. All right. Let's take a look real quick at the Qs. See if we're getting any love or something similar. Where is the pre-market? There it is. So slight little gap down, still actually holding up, I think, a little bit better than the SPY today. I think SPY is coming down a little bit more. But we got, we're at one little safety area right here. So somewhere in this 382.31. Looks like we're already below that. So next immediate target, I would think, would be 380.61. And then probably this 379.77 would be a good target for this as well. Then we get met with the 10 EMA as a little bit of support, and 379.56 is that previous VPOC. So could come down a little bit further, but it's not jumping off the cliff just yet. Bitcoin's on his way to 28,250, then up to 32,000. I think we got to get past that 31,000. If we can get past 31,000 on Bitcoin, you'll see a much bigger move. But I don't know when or how or if, but that would be the number I'm looking for on Bitcoin. So 31,000 on Bitcoin, and I think we see a bigger push, bigger run. GPS, the gap. We tried to day trade this one in, which I actually think we lost a little bit on this one. I was buying the gap down here. Was it down here? Yeah, I think I bought it here. I bought it here. Made some swing trades on it. We tried to day trade it over here. It didn't work too well. But this one is a gap and go. Again, I like it for the squeeze portion of things, and it does have a high short float. 1155 has been the area I've been looking to target. Is today going to be the day? I do like this gap. I don't love the fact that we ran up into it, and it's only really one day of selling. But if we could get a red candle on this one, I'm more than willing to play it again. I don't think, if the markets come down today, I don't think that's going to help GPS at all. But I think we're definitely in a squeeze on the gap. And I think we do have a lot of room on this one. So yeah, probably one of my favorites. Ron, how come this wasn't on your list, Ron? Was it? No, it wasn't. All right, let's take a real quick look. We got ROK. Some of these plays you got in here, Ron, might be a little lower on volume. So Rockwell Automation, massive gap down. The one thing I would probably caution on this one, it is technically a gap and go. Let me just do a Fibonacci on this one, just eyeballing this one. It looks to me, where do I want to draw this one? Probably here to here. Looks like we're probably sitting somewhere at about a 50% retracement. Yeah, we're in between the 50 and the 618. So see if we get down to like 297.32, but that could be a potential bounce spot. Anybody who missed that entire rally, you might have some people interested in this. I'm guessing it's an earnings miss. And I don't know what this company does. Yeah, so surprise beat to the downside of 5% on earnings per share, and then 4% to the downside. So it's going to have a negative catalyst. Probably needs a couple more days, but if this thing does want to bounce, otherwise you do have about $6 further down, at least into the 618. If we start closing below that, I think it's a nightmare for the company. PRU, Prudential. Are they getting a little gappy down too? Just a tad right into the 10 EMA though, so be cautious of that. That could help boost it up a little bit. This is also a retest gap technically, so I don't know if it's a wide enough gap. I don't think so to play the fade up higher, but I wouldn't short at open. See if this one gets a little bit of a rip that you can take a little bit higher. ZBRA. Zebra. I don't know why Trading View is so slow today. It's like just doesn't load that quick. I don't know. This one looks like a horrific gap down on Zebra Technologies. Again, I'm not sure this company at all. They beat on earnings per share, but they did miss by $93 million. Pretty drastic drop. This one's probably more shortable than anything else. Again, volume on this one might be low though. So this one I would probably, you got to watch out. You do have a little bit of maybe support coming in either somewhere at 251.06. We could even on a really bad day 244 we could get to, but it does look shortable. Probably with that size gap, it's just too large for me to play. So I'd probably let it just do its thing. Let's see, TAP. TAP. Come on, think faster. Keep up. All right, we got Molson down quite a bit. This is a retest gap at support. So this one I think would actually be fadeable to fade this one up higher. Somewhere down here would be a very interesting spot. If we could get down a little bit lower, that'd be tremendous. 65, 63 would be a good spot to try to play this one higher. So see if this one wants to at least hold a little bit in this area. Give me some consolidation and open some kind of red candles. That one I would probably try to fade up higher. MRK. Yeah, everything pharmaceutical or anything really that involved the run up from COVID, a lot of those companies and Merck is probably going to hold a little bit better, but I think like J&J I think has a ton of potential lawsuits out there. And then who's the other one? There's one other company that I think is coming down quite a bit in this field. I can't think of the name right now, but you have Merck. So Merck, a little bit of gap up. This is a retest gap, a little bit above support. I like this. I like where this candle is opening for sure. See if this one pulls back a little bit, as it is a small little retest. Beautiful double bottom on a daily chart. I'll put Merck on the list, and we'll go. I'm actually going to try this one long. It's kind of terrifying. A little bit terrifying, but we do have some room to the higher side on this one. Go all the way to the top of the list. Might be time for me to start editing my list. TM, I'm gonna look at CAT. BP is gonna have low volume. MO is typically low volume as well. For day trade, swing trade is much different. Caterpillar, nice little gap up on this one. It is a retest gap. Pretty decent looking gap though. Is this earnings as well? So would they beat on both fronts? I have 0 targets on this one. I got no idea where this one could go. This is a technical retest gap. Lots of buying into this run up. Most likely, I think this one will be good to fade lower. Come in for that retest. Probably somewhere right around the 265. We'll call 265, but could be a little bit lower than that. But Caterpillar, I'm going to look for potential fade. So give me like a green candle on this one. And then I'm going to look to actually short this one. It's got some strength. The rest of the market, if it is still bleeding down a little bit, I'll take my shot. Come on. There you go. Caterpillar. All right, let me see what else we got on the list. ANET looks nice. We're gonna have a lot of takers. I don't know if we're gonna get to all of them. We'll do our best. So we got Arista Networks. Nice gap up on this one as well. It's gonna be another Caterpillar situation. It's a big, massive gap from yesterday. But if anybody was on this squeeze, so this one was actually selling essentially into earnings. This one could be a nice pop. Again, volume might be a little bit lower. Today might be okay. Typically, volume's slightly lower though. Yeah, it looks good. See if we get a little pullback first. Anything into like the 175.53. Otherwise, to the upside, I have zero targets, and this thing could definitely get a solid lift. That's a lot of shorts. Even some of the short volume was picking up into earnings. So definitely a little bit probably of a surprise beat and could squeeze some people. I don't think this one's probably got a high short float on it though. That would be a interesting thing. We got Hector says good morning. Laura says good morning. Always great to be here. Good to have you. Nicola equals the Tesla killer. Yeah, I mean it's almost the same. It's almost the same league. Almost. If Nikola could kill Tesla with nothing but dreams, then I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. You do got a little bit of a gap up. It's under $5, so I won't day trade it. But if you're gonna swing trade it, you probably do have to about $5.15. A little bit of volume coming in between probably the 387 and 348 range. So we're almost into that. This one could be a squeeze for sure. Uninvestable, would never put my money in there for the long term. But Adam says printing industry as a whole is taking a beating this year. May explain sentiment. I think the printing industry has been taking a beating for the last 10 years, but that's just me. I've been in that industry before, and I know a lot of the printing guys have been, let's just say, complaining, to say it nicely, and trying to figure out other revenue streams for the business for quite some time. But I can't imagine it was getting much better. TradingView was slow on my side yesterday. Seems like that software upgrade. To me, it seems a little bit more like a downgrade on my end than an upgrade. But Adam says yes, but specific on consumer goods right now. Zebra printing, e-commerce, label printing, logistics. Got you. Okay. Yeah. Well, they definitely missed on some earnings, and they're getting absolutely hammered. J Blue for the fade. JBLU. I think JetBlue is looking for expanding out and really focusing trying to on international flights. I think their partnership with American Airlines just ended. This is a little bit of a surprise beat to the upside. Surprise revenue beat 2.155 million. You do have a little bit of support down here. This would be a fadeable stock. Yeah, I think so. I would like it a little bit lower, maybe. Freak some people out a little bit, but there was a decent amount of selling into this thing. That looks like a fade to me. How much room, though, it's going to go up? I mean, you're looking for 50 cents. It would have to be a tight spread. We'll add it to the list, though, for sure. 15 cent. I was thinking like Ron, what'd you do yesterday? You had a 3-cent stop on something? we need one of those on J Blue, I think. Yeah, it'd probably have to be 10 to 15 cent stop. But everything's all relative to the price, because it's only $7.25. Yeah, 3-cent stop from Ron. I told him, I was like, I don't know how that one didn't run for 12 hours. All you needed was like a 20-cent move. All right. Ron says it worked out. Yeah, it was either going to work out or it was a quick R. One of the two. CCL and Norwegian probably want to watch as well today. Norwegian, I think, was getting killed. I'm not sure where Carnival is. Let's see. So a little bit of a gap and go on Carnival. We do that 10 EMA, plus we got a little bit of support coming in, 1824. This on a daily, I mean, if we do actually roll from here, this would be looking very double topish longer term. You did put in new higher highs, and this could also be developing some just pennant pattern before we push higher. That's possible as well. All those moving averages are stacked correctly, so momentum on every time frame looks decent still. This one probably, I think, could get bought up, but I think you'd have to be a little bit nervous on Carnival Cruise with the way NCLH Norwegian is definitely getting a bigger drop. If TradingView wants to pull it up. So Norwegian is looking a lot worse than Carnival. So my sympathy play would be probably Carnival Cruise. Although it does have a little bit more support to it. This one, I think you get down to 1956. I think maybe some buyers could be interested. But again, here's another one where the earnings weren't bad. I think that we beat on both. Yeah. So here we go. We beat on both. Huge run up into it, and it's just not good enough. It's not good enough. We beat all the analyst expectations, but investor expectations are a lot higher. I would actually look for this one to fade up higher from here. See if it drops a little bit, but this one could also be a fade, I think, longer, knowing that there's a little bit of some kind of support here. So we'll have that one on the list to watch. Please check M. Is that Macy's? So we did see the gapping. Let me see if Macy's is having any run as well. I think retail, retail still, Macy's still has to put out their earnings in a little bit. Nice candle yesterday, still inside of this one. This is where all the bears came, smacked it down. It is showing me that there's a little bit of strength still in Macy's. We've been rejecting now twice off of this little 10 EMA that's kind of coming in on it. I would imagine, I don't see a big breakout. Again, you could see the squeeze on the gap. And if that's going to turn into something for retail to get a little strength behind, I mean, that would be fantastic for Macy's to start pushing above some of these moving averages. We do have a little bit of resistance. Yep, kind of where we stopped at last time is this previous VPOC. So those have been already essentially retested. The next one for me would be, I mean, if this thing really wants to start going, 1725, but with earnings coming out on, we have August 16th, so we still got 16 days. I don't know if the resistance is going to be too strong for this one. Otherwise, this is telling me that there is definitely still some bulls in here, but I would expect a little chop on Macy's. Cinnamon is in the house. Good morning, Cinnamon. We got Shopify. Antonio on YouTube land says, first time ever with the RL community. Welcome, Antonio. I got a question for you then. Did you go to reallifetrading.com? On the first page, as soon as you go there, there's a banner for free week. Just go there, sign up for the free week. It costs you nothing, and then you could hang out with us all day. You know, Rado, same thing. Why are you in YouTube? Brooke, just go reallifetrading.com. We're here all week. We're streaming till 6 p.m. every day. That's what we do every day, but you can just hop over here. It's easy. All right, we got Shopify. So Shop, decent little sell. So yesterday was, technically speaking, a retest gap. We didn't get much of a retest on this thing. So now there is a wide open gap down here. We are below yesterday's VPOC at open, so it is a little bit of a gap and go bearish. I would be curious, I'd be interested to watch this one. See if this one, I think we have all the resistance right now, 67.44. I think what happens on Shopify, I think what we need to do on Shopify is watch, number one, the opening price of yesterday. If that starts to break, then I think we'll be looking for the $66 range. Somewhere in there should be some kind of support. I think sentiment right now, at least in the short term, like very, very short term, is still bullish. We did have a decent run up. We had a big pullback for profit taking, and this one could be ready to go. But I think we have to watch these levels, see if we get back down to the 66. That's where I would like to buy it, close this gap, and then look to run. So is it going to do anything crazy today? I don't know. I don't think so. We do have a good resistance up above us and support down here. I can't play this one at open for me, only because I don't know. Maybe that opening range from yesterday is going to hold, and then you got support, resistance, sorry, right up here. And I have a very, very tight range. So until it breaks that range one way or the other, I can't really play it because it's just not enough money in it for right now. If this thing does break through, and again, maybe there's some more room, you get about $1.20 to the downside. If this breaks, so maybe there's a small little play here into that retest. But I'd much rather see if it comes down into this range and then look for that bounce. Oh, and they got earnings tomorrow too. Okay. Yep. Didn't even see that. All of that analysis is good for 24 hours. That's it. Anything after that, who knows what earnings comes out with. But yeah, that's probably a little bit more reason you're going to get some chop on this one. So be careful on Shopify. And I have no idea what those earnings are going to bring. Even if they're good earnings, like I said, we've seen good earnings and they just, not good enough into a decent run up. And Shopify is definitely on the list of stocks that had a really good run up. And I mean, we were sitting at $23 couple months ago. So I don't know. But yeah, maybe a little bit more chop today, Cinnamon. Brooke says, I'm here now, was on YouTube while I was walking my dog. Okay. All right. Well, honestly, I'm impressed. That's a good way to think outside the box. Ron says, also news at 9:45. What report do we have coming out today? And especially at 10. We got a couple things coming out today, huh? All right. Alex wants to look at NVIDIA. Also, if I missed any of your tickers, I apologize. Just throw them into the chat. I got 2 more minutes left. Let's see what NVIDIA's been doing. NVIDIA is sitting in this little double top zone. This would be, to me, a short. I'm going to go put this on the list to see if we get some buying at open. If TradingView wants to, there we go. All right, I'm going to see if I can get a little bit of some buying. Probably would love to see it into like the 467.70 zone. And then I think this would be a lot of room to the downside, probably into about 458.66 would be my target. Tesla, I do see a little bit of a pop on Tesla, probably because they're waking up from Nikola. That's my guess. I mean, they're like, we can't let Nikola outdo us. We can't let Nikola do us dirty. So far, not enough, though. Nikola's still looking good. Tesla is still at this pretty decent resistance we've been struggling with for a while. So inside day on Tesla, even with the little pre-market pop it's doing now, and we'll have to see. But 266.74 would actually be a decent opportunity to short the stock if you are bearish on it. I'm kind of indifferent at this point. I can see a little bit of momentum building in the bullish direction, so I'd be more bullish to neutral. But it's got to get through this 266.70 zone. We will see. Let me throw this back onto TOS. As where you have like less than a minute until the market opens. So with some of the other stocks that we're looking at, I think the gap, if you guys are taking any setups, throw them into the chat ping too. We'll take a look at those. We'll put GPS here. We were looking at, we got NVIDIA already on the screen. Not giving us anything yet, except maybe that pre-market breakdown. This pre-market breakdown could be interesting. I'll give it a second, though. And then GPS is fading at open. MRK we were looking at. MRK. It's giving us a red candle at open. It could be playable. Palantir is putting in a high wave at open. J Blue. I believe we were looking to fade this one higher, right? Let me check J Blue again. I forget what we said on this one. J Blue. Yeah, nice gap down. Yeah, I kind of like Nvidia to the short side, 458 and change, but either we had to take that pre-market break, which we could have, or just be patient, which we are, which we're doing. So we'll see. JetBlue. This could be an interesting trade. We'll see. 725, 7.25. We need a smaller spread on this one. That's right. And that's going to give us about a 704, 7.04. Let me see if I can get a better entry somewhere than that. I'm not going to touch it yet. I'm going to let it do its thing. And then the gap, maybe 1091. Let me see GPS. GPS technically could fade all the way back down to 1059 before this thing gets going. So I'm going to have to leave that one alone for now. I don't have great risk reward where it's at. Tesla is coming down though. So that would have been a decent short right out of the gate. Missed it. Nvidia, again, market's been open for a whole 2 minutes, but it feels like 35 minutes. Everybody out there in YouTube land, make sure you guys hit the like, subscribe, especially if you're out there walking your dog listening to the stream. Especially you have to hit the like button for sure. Otherwise, you guys are incredible. And check out reallifetrading.com. It is free week. Hit the banner, and you can hang out with us on the side. You guys are awesome. Later, guys. All right. MRK is just kind of hanging out. Brooke says I did. All right. I mean, it's a good morning then. It's a good morning. The dog got a walk and some exercise, and there was a like that came in. So that's nice. Very nice. All right. So here could be our opportunity on Nvidia if this thing wants to actually hold green. 463.44. And I'm going to go with 465.34. I'm going to type this order out, but I'm not going to hit enter into the broker yet because the candle's still open. And I don't know where this candle's going to close. But 460, let's put out NVDA. 463.44. They're not going to give it to me, huh? 465.34. Interesting candle on MRK. Nvidia's not giving me that setup. So I can't even put that in the broker yet. MRK 109.28. With a stop of 107.60. Let's see if we can get to targets. MRK. I think we can make it to like 110.30. That's not enough. All right, the vids, I might have to change the setup of 462.68. 462.68. SPY is hanging in there. SPY is not absolutely awful. 465.02. I gotta get to 458. That's doable. All right. This would be 462.68 by 465.02. I'm gonna try this one on Nvidia short. This candle has to close though, so I'm not gonna enter it into the broker just quite yet. But soon. This is free week. Yep, absolutely. This is NVDA. This would be sell shorts. Stop limit. 462.68. 2.68. And I could make this one official. All right, let me throw this one out in Slack. What's up, Anil? So yep, PANW, PANW. Palo Alto, let me see it on the daily charts. PANW. Could probably start to get that entry a little bit higher on the vids. Interesting high wave candle yesterday. It's still inside day. Last few days we've been pushing up higher, so I think there's definitely a little bit more bullish momentum. Could get a little choppy, but I think your first target in a bullish direction will be 252.33. And a stretch bullish target would probably be about 254.03. And you have a ton of support below you. So you really don't want to see candle start closing below 248.63. Otherwise, target to the downside would be 245.40. So you're at decent support. I don't like the fact that it's inside day. It could be a little extra choppy. But yep, if I had to pick a direction and see if you get another red candle, you could probably take this opening range candle too. But I'd love to see something just come in here, get saved around this 249, and then look for that retracement break. And what do we want to do on NVIDIA? So NVIDIA, for target-wise, 458 even is 2 hours. It is also the beginning of the month. So therefore, stacking some wood might not be a horrible thing. And I'm going to take that advantage. So 459.87 is going to be my target if I get filled. 459.87 would be target on NVIDIA if filled. And again, SPY did put in a green can, a little bit of a reversal potential here. MRK was looking good. Still kind of hanging in there. I have the order out for short, Adam, but I'm not in there yet. So the order that I have is this. I'll throw it in the chat again. But it would be on NVIDIA. I'm looking to only get filled, so it's a stop limit order, 462.68 by 465.02. And again, that might be updated very, very shortly. 463.21 gives me better risk reward. 463.21. I could probably move that stop a little bit. 465.16. And 1.2 is 460.87. Well, we got some bulls down here. I'm gonna leave that order for where it's at for right now. See if this candle wants to close. I like the fact that we're still just struggling with that pre-market. Yeah, I'll give it some time to get filled. AMD did start to tank at open. AMD, I think, reports tonight, if I'm not mistaken. Ron said we got news at 9:45 and then 10. So we're also 5 minutes away from that. Palo Alto is starting to break in the bullish direction. So taking the opening range break looks good. Did you hop in on that, Anil? I would have preferred if this thing pulled back a little bit more, but yeah. MRK doing this thing. I kind of want to take the break right under here now. It's a little high wave, a little bit of a bull trap. Candle's not really closed yet. I'll give it another couple minutes. We'll see if I can get a different setup. It's not giving it to me yet. JetBlue has a little bit of a potential hammer on it. Down at 705. That could be interesting. You're definitely below VWAP, below the 10. We've already rejected it essentially twice. Again, AMD is picking up a little bit of steam. I would love to see one more green candle on NVIDIA. Give me one more little green candle. I think then I can get my entries up. So now it's 463.10. I like this one better. My personal day trade NVIDIA update. 463.10 by 465.16. This is what I'm going to try if it lets me. So meaning that I need this candle to close. Otherwise, the order is going to stay exactly the same. I want it to close green though. Or 63.10. All right, so I have it ready in the broker, just not placing it yet. And if it's a red candle, I can't really do much. Affirm is ripping. I heard if you buy the stock now, they'll pay you your profits later. That's what I heard. Yeah, decent little pushback, sell at open. Obviously, some bullish buying in there. The gap did continue to just give back some of those gains. So interesting. That hammer, I like this hammer on JetBlue a lot. Good volume. Terrified about the VWAP. No, Andy, this would be a short on NVIDIA. Yeah, so when we type, I'll type out how it looks, but entry by stop. So that's anytime you see any of the moderators typing out an order, the first number is always your entry. The second is always the stop. So if the stop is higher than your entry, that would be a short. I feel like NVIDIA is going to be trappy. I feel like I'm about to get trapped on this NVIDIA. Anyone else got that feeling? That's why I'm like, I don't know, I'm a little cautious. I didn't make the update to the I didn't make any updates to the trade, so it's still the original one that we're going for. Yeah, this one's kind of hanging out. I'm watching AMD too, so AMD is starting to break that opening range candle. Looks a little bit like Affirm back in like 3 minutes ago. And if AMD is starting to maybe pop, that could be an issue for us on NVIDIA. But I didn't get filled yet, so if it wants to pop, it could pop. But I feel like most likely that's probably what's happening here. Still just trading sideways. Oh yeah, 945. I mean the market's getting a little green, nothing really too crazy. That looks like a trap and a half though for the bulls now. 463. If that candle closes, I could take that updated order. In fact, I'm about to. Come on, stay green. Go higher. Tesla's coming down. Oh, they just trapped some bulls. Oh, pure mayhem. Pure mayhem. I mean, AMD did. I mean, volume's coming in on that one. I'm gonna be taking the update as soon as this candle hopefully closes green. I can't take the updated order. Hector, you taking Tesla breakdown? Did look like it just rotated. A firm, big trap on a firm. Nice bearish engulfing candle. Just when you thought it was safe. Nvidia is a little bit all over the place. AAPL for 10 EMA. It would have been there. Might have got filled. Are you in on that one? Now AMD is starting to rip ahead of earnings. Interesting. What is that going to tell me about Nvidia? 463.01. Where's the original order at? 462.68. I could definitely come in higher than that. They're not giving me any candles whatsoever. I just got filled on the original, so I'm absolutely terrified of this one because there's a lot of weird price movement. I'm gonna throw out the order. If I lose the R, I lose the R. But this would be your trap spot if it's going to. A lot of things are just moving crazy now, so we'll see. $460. 465.02. And video. Force the 02. I got filled in 2 shifts. Greg, you didn't get filled? Yeah, sure. We're home for. I wouldn't necessarily think we're home free yet, but so targets on this one, we're looking for 159.87. It did take me two attempts to get filled, so they only took a partial fill on the first one, and a little bit of retest came back, got me for the rest. So I am in. Let's see order status. So we're trying to get this one to 459.87. And again, this candle is still wide open with AMD going crazy. And Nvidia is sinking a little bit. I don't know. This is still very, very much of a trap position. So I need this candle to close very, very strong, or I think we're going to be in the hot seat. But you do have Tesla coming down. Anytime the bulls are trying to bring this thing back up, it is being taken down. I'm terrified of what AMD is doing, though. Yeah, that's going to be a trap. 463. I'm going to move stops on this one quick. 464.81, new stop. Trying to give it a little room. stop updates. I forget what I said. NVIDIA 464.81. 464.81. Let me move that in the broker. 464.81. We'll see if we get any type of follow through on this one. And about 9 minutes from second round of news. So we'll see. Today everything's moving so weird. I know it doesn't move at all, and then like in one candle, it's like a big weird candle. Then there's trap after trap. I like the fact that there's all these wicks here. That's a very trapping candle on NVIDIA. If this trade doesn't work, I'm not surprised. It should work if we could break down this hammer and could actually get a close. But right now, candle's still open. We still need another $1.64-ish plus some. So we still need a little bit more move, and getting through that 460 is going to be tough, which is why that updated order would have been nice. But it is what it is. I'm going to go, should I go ultra aggressive? 462. 462.91. I'm not playing games on this one. 462.91 is my new stop. I don't like any of this movement right now. 462.91. If it works, it works. 0.291. All right, 462. 462.91. All right, and 462.91. 2.91, you stop. If this is going to work, it shouldn't get above this candle. This candle, that should have been the trap candle for the bears, and it did not come in. So if this thing wants to just die and run into targets, fantastic. Otherwise, I'm still very cautious on this. And I don't know what news comes out in 7 minutes. Dang, time moves fast. Still need like another dollar on this. I'm gonna both miss my pullback. Sad panda. All right, so that was a very bearish close. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 red candles in a row. That was a definite weak candle. Well, I can't lose right now, so I'm going to leave it where it's at. I think it could easily come back up, do something stupid, pop up above that before taking out. But part of me wants to take some kind of partials here. I'm just going to let it do its thing, because I still need it to come down a little bit lower, and I can't lose on the trade. So I'm hoping it's something kind of like almost what Tesla just did. So there's your first little breakdown. I'm okay with an inside candle and then drop one more time. Lucian says I may adjust to 264 as well based on the 15-minute. Are you looking for Tesla long, Lucian? Oh, you're trying to get filled in higher. DJ, when you enter a short like this, do you enter the entry order as a sell with a limit and then a buy to cover with a stop? I do the sell and the limit at the same price. So you could change it if you want to. I always just do the same price. And then for me, what I usually do is I don't know. I'm a weird. You could do it. You could do it in a bracket in TOS. I legit just, for me, I put out the order just so I go quicker. And then once it fills, then I put in my target and my stop. But yeah, the sell and the limit, I just keep it the same price. And if you got skipped on it, don't worry. I get skipped all the time on everything. So like unfortunately, there's nothing we can do on that. Yeah, that would be a stop limit. Correct. Yep. So a stop limit, if you're trying to short, you're trying to only enter a trade if it's lower. So if the price drops down further, that's when you want to get triggered. If it's a stop limit and you're trying to short, that means you're trying to get filled higher. So like Lucian's trying to most likely get filled at 264 on Tesla. So he's going to do a stop limit to get filled there. All right, well, we can't lose on NVIDIA. Let's see what else is out there in the market. That hammer on J Blue was looking pretty fantastic. Baba starting to pick up again. It's just had pretty good momentum. Yes, to prayer on the full moon day. Today's full moon day. First, we got news at 9:45. Then you got news at 10 a.m. Now it's full moon day. Odds are stacked against me. I don't know. I don't know anymore. That's crazy. All right, AMD is just kind of hanging out. I'm not really sure what I want AMD to do at this point because it's been going up and NVIDIA's been going down. So hopefully, I guess I kind of want AMD to keep going up. Normally, I'd kind of want them both going down. But it's full moon day. All right, Tesla's still just kind of hanging out. And we got our stops at what did we put it at? 260, 291. Okay. J Blue starting to go. There's some weird volume in this market today. It's sporadic. You're watching like J Blue make some weird looking candle. JP Morgan down a little bit. Bank C down another 1.5. We got MO. That's up a little bit. Let me see what else was on the list. Yeah, Caterpillar was doing crazy things this morning. CAT. I mean, that was your pullback. She traded a 1 minute. Yeah, AMD is kind of holding. Decent. I gotta survive earnings. I mean, so I have 2 put sales. I think it's also August 18th. For actually I don't know how many puts it was. But yeah, I've put sales for $95 on AMD August. So if they get murdered today, most likely I'll be proud owner. But if they don't get murdered today, I think a lot of the theta is going to just, or at least some of the volatility would just push out of it. So hoping they at least have an okay quarter. I think the last earnings were not great for them. Hector says, "Oh snap," which reminds me, what's Snapchat doing? Snaposaurus, nice little hammer, good volume on the follow through, not so much on the trap hammer. NVIDIA is trying to come down. Come down. Do not find support at 461. NVIDIA. Are you guys in anything else? No, it's fine. A little support. Man, these candles, they just pick up and SPY is starting to break out. 10 a.m. news. I don't know what the news was. But if I'm going to if I'm going to get stopped out, it's probably going to be around here. Let's see. Let me see if I can find the news real quick. TLT is pushing, so it's bonds. So far, they let me stay in NVIDIA, which is cool. The yen is starting to pop a little bit. Construction spending month over month, 0.05%. Oh, we had JOLTS job openings for June, 9.582 million. I don't think I want to see this candle on NVIDIA get taken out. 462.33. So that's going to be my updated stop in a second. $462.41. I'm going to update that stop. 462.41 for anybody in it. All right. We'll see what happens, but we'll try to lock a little bit more gain in on it. It's got a little bit of weird support down here. Again, we just tried to pop, rejected that 10, especially if this closes a high wave. I think probably in a little bit, with a little more patience, I think this thing can still break down. You got the market ripping and now AMD is starting to come down a little bit, but AMD was doing good. The market's doing good. Just a little bit of weakness on NVIDIA, but everything else going against it. Weird little bull trap candle on Apple that just came in. So that could give us another little bit of a push down. And SPY is just still settling, digesting the news from the JOLTS that just came out. I had my stop at 462.58. 462.58. So you're probably still in there. Oh, ACAP closed me out. Oh, okay. Yeah, ACAP will fill on a spread. So the bid ask probably got up there on ACAP. Which it's tough. Brooke, you got stopped out too. With ACAP. ACAP is fun. Yeah. Yeah, NVIDIA is, everything's a little bit more spready, I think, in ACAP, but like NVIDIA definitely is. It's not as hard. It's not as bad as like some of the other much lower volumes. Their spreads are wild, but usually when either news comes in, or there's like a serious like breakdown, something like that, like this candle, those spreads just widen on those moves, like a lot. All right, for now, they're keeping me into the vids. We'll see if they want to keep me in any longer. Doesn't look like it. Maybe found a little support at 461. So far, did I get filled? Nope, not filled yet. Wrong way. Wrong way. Nope. Nope. Don't do it. Don't do it. Just got filled on NVIDIA, so I'm out as well. All right, good try. Stacked a little bit of wood. Not bad. Camera says I'll stopped out on ACAP. Tried to short below support on Delta. Didn't fill on price. Went through stop limit. Yeah, I feel like Delta is a little more spready on there. Do you use moving average on short time frame or always on daily? I use it on. Depends on what you're trying to do, Ivo. For day trade purpose, I'll have I'm trying to think of the best way to answer because I'm not 100% sure of the question, but I keep trading view on the daily chart and I'll keep moving averages on that one. But if I'm day trading, I really want to know more or less where the intraday moving averages are. So like the 10 EMA, the only one I really keep on my screen is the 10 EMA because we're we take some 10 EMA setups. That's the only one I really keep on my intraday whatsoever. And that's this yellow line. And then I'm using kind of the bigger ones on the daily. So used ACAP now. It took a little to be quick with ordering. Yeah, it takes some trial and error. I found on ACAP not taking the breakouts worked better for me. So when I was taking the breakouts, then the spread would widen. My fills were not great. But what I would do is I'm like, okay, I want this thing. It takes a little bit more patience to watch the screen because then you got to wait for this breakout and then get filled on pullbacks because those things move tighter. Like how you are willing the stock to go your direction. Never works for me. I got a good 10% success rate of mentally pushing stocks in certain directions. So, there's a little chance, a little bit. Apple starting to rotate down pretty heavy. I think we're still roughly at the 618. So somewhere right here should be, I think, the bounce spot if the bulls are going to be saved whatsoever. Huge volume on that JOLTS number. Again, the market did take it pretty good, but we're giving some of those gains back almost immediately. Let me throw in Slack that I'm trailed out on this one. Trailed out on NVIDIA. And then AMD still looks decent. I still think NVIDIA could come lower, but the price action has been a little strange on that one. Honestly, I thought as soon as this hammer came in, I was like, man, I just got hosed. And I was that one maybe I manifested. I'm not sure. Because during this point, I'm like watching that price action back and forth. I'm like, I think we might get trapped. And then this hammer comes in. I'm like, we are going to get trapped. So to walk away with anything in my pocket green is I'm going to take that as an absolutely fantastic move. Jay Blue, I don't know how I didn't take that hammer. That was just staring me in the face. I called it out. Hope somebody did. I did not, though. The NVIDIA trade skipped my sell stop limit entry, but I didn't cancel. So then it filled me as a sell limit 30 cents lower than my original entry. Yeah. Tesla is cancel for you, I think. Get a better setup. You're not thinking that 264 anymore, huh? After 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 green candles in a row. Let me see what else I got. Potentially working. Disney is up very, very small. Babo down a little. MO's having a good day. 1.3%. MPW down a little bit. PLTR. Bullish engulfing, that came in for the retest. Yeah, this 1999, this $20 range. So next spot Palantir has to break through. Thoughts on Delta? I think you're probably hitting a little bit of support here. Otherwise, it looks kind of weak. Maybe a 5-wave count is here. It's a tough one. But this could be a 1, 2. This is your 3. So this would be your 4. Either double bottom, sideways chop, something like this for 5. Hang out. Could get saved right around here somewhere, potentially. But if we get a close like this on a daily, we're probably coming back into this 40, 42 and change zone. But I think it come down a little bit further. The daily looks pretty weak. And then again, too, cruise lines are down. So I would assume that's going to hurt travel as well. I don't know about Airbnb. Yeah, even Airbnb's down a little bit too. So I think the travel industry is a little probably weaker. J Blue's down. It was down 8%. Did rally back a bit. So I think any of those stocks to me would be more sell the rip instead of buy the dip. Hector's also going to cancel Tessie and just put all of his money into Nikola. Very interesting approach, I think. I don't know. Yeah, it could be a double top on AMD. You do have a little bit of resistance up here. If that candle breaks, though, that resistance should be support. And should we do NVIDIA again? Tesla looks like it is rotating down, so would have missed you by a little bit if you were trying to get filled. You had the right idea, though. Off by about 11 cents from entry. What the GPS end up doing? A little bit of a harame. Otherwise, there's not much of a signal to get in. The only other thing was I think it was right in that zone that we thought it could come down to. Besides that, nothing on a technical basis to help you set up the entry. Spy. We do have to watch the spy here, though. I didn't realize we were right back into that rejection zone. Probably a good area to buy some puts. Yeah, we retested yesterday's VPOC and rejected it. This is probably the spot to go bearish. Would like to see a double top of some sort. But when you have a high wave with that amount of volume and then 2 candles later, that's already taken it out. That's not a great sign. All right. How could I either we have to wait for SPY to retrace, bounce up one more time, give us like a double top. Maybe we push to like 456.69. And then we could rotate, or we have to try to figure out another company to do it with. Win wants to go short Tessie 263.56. So dollar stop. 8. Yeah, it does look double topish. But AMD does report tonight too, so there's going to be probably a couple weird rotations in it as well. So be careful on that, Felix. Also, just a quick side note: if you guys are on host and panelists, make sure that changes to everyone, just so everyone can see your comments. And that's not just toward you, Felix. I see a lot of you guys with the host and panelists. That's all. Carvana, CVNA. That's a hefty candle in the downward direction. But so is the SPY. This could be a decent reversal spot. I want some kind of green candles. Market probably not going to be that generous. I should have been paying attention to that before. What about Meta? If anything is going to get a drop, I think Meta is a good contender for it. Trap bears on Carvana. Yeah, the question is, how do I figure out the entry, though? Again, even on here on the SPY, I mean, that's a full, it's almost, almost $1.40 move within a matter of 15 minutes. It's a big move already. And AMD looks like it's holding up pretty decent, some strength. Maybe if Nvidia could get saved here, we know this 261 has been a pretty decent support. I think overall it does look a little bit weaker, but if it's going to double bottom, we're going to have to look here for this one. SPY is at a little bit of a retest spot too. It just got there very, very quickly, which is going to be tough because that can't mean that the bulls are too confident right now. Will the buy to dippers win out again, though? That's been their story for most majority of the year. I kind of think sentiment might be changing a little bit though, because we are up massively. And even on some of these earnings, like the earnings aren't bad, but they're not essentially buying the dips as they were before. Again, I don't think that there's a big massive pullback happening. I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. I can't tell that from 3 inside day candles. But the trend has still been bullish. We have not really pulled back at all, so it could happen. Like a small pullback, run it up again, something like that. Nice hammer off support on the SPY. Yep, 3-minute looks like a little double bottom on Nvidia. My question is why though? I don't know if I see any support down here. I see support a little bit lower. Yeah, 458.89. That's essentially where our 1.2 target was. So unless they're gonna front run that little spot, which is possible, we get better risk to reward if it does come a tad lower. And then again on the daily chart, that's a decent little gap down, small. But I don't know if I'm ready to play that one bullish. 460.50 for entry. I'd want this thing lower. 458. I want something like the 458.80 zone. If I could get that, that'd be not that I'm just going to throw the blind order out there, but because I think today is a little bit more bearish on Nvidia. SPY is just breaking through that support now, so watch out. This is now 3 big candles in a row. We should have got those puts when I thought I was late to the game on it. Guess not. Yeah, Apple is pulling back pretty decent. Again, not much news. We did have the jolts come out. That's about it. And then I think TLT is no. Had one little pop on TLT that gave it right back too. All right, Nvidia is still in the running, throwing in a slight little bear trap. Question is this market really going to reverse? I don't know. I feel like I would be going counter trend on Nvidia if I did this. 461.91. Providing that this is even a hammer looking candle by close. We still have a little bit of like, hey, this could be double bottom on the SPY. I don't know, with that amount of big red candles in a row on the SPY, that doesn't give me some confidence that we're gonna just rip out of here. But again, it is. I can't refuse or stop believing that we're not in 2023. What about DraftKings, DKNG? Kind of just chilling. Meta. So far it's holding up, still down for the day. If we get any type of reversal here, that could look head and shoulders. Let me see on the daily for Meta. We didn't really look at this one pre-market. A big gap to fill. 316.58. With a stop of 318.89. We need 311.96. That's doable. Is this market going to bounce at all? $317.04. Or what would that be? Kind of want to take the break of this candle. I might do that. My personal day trade. Think Meta 317.04 by 318.89. This is what I'm thinking. Give me 1 second on it, but this is what I'm thinking. $317.04. Did find a little bit of support. Tweezer bottoms. We got to get through. So this is just calling the assumption that this is going to turn into an inverse head and shoulders. Nvidia breaking up higher. We've got the VWAP right there. SPY is also at a little double potential bottom, I guess. I'm going to take it. I'm going to try for an inverse head and shoulders. Let's see if we get it. All right, I got it entered into the broker. Let me throw this into there. Then if we're going for 2 hours on the trade, which maybe we do, maybe we don't, but that would be 313.34. I think if we could get a slight little breakdown, that is doable. But for 2 hours, we will have to get new lows of the day. And I'm anticipating that this is the original breakdown spot. What I'm thinking is that this is just a retest. We could kind of roll over. We're going to have to deal with that VWAP. That could also be a bounce spot. Otherwise, I think we have a little bit of potential head and shoulders if this thing does start rotating downwards. This left shoulder is a little far extended, but the other thing that we have to watch for is that this SPY spot is not just a big double bottom. MRK giving it all right back. Nothing there. AMD is right back into that resistance zone. So we'll see if AMD wants to break through. All right, I'll take a tweezer top if you want to give me that meta. You want to give me tweezers? I'm down with that. The thing that would obviously worry me is this is a ton of selling. I do think that after this amount of selling that quickly, there could be some people down here that might want to take profits. I think it will be sell the rips. However, there could be a little bounce first before we have to get the rip first, and I don't know what that's going to do to meta. But I got the order out there in the broker. Stops are at high of the day, so if it starts to break the high of the day, again, huge volume into this, and that closed 2 candles lower. So that to me looks almost a little bit trappy. Some people might want to adjust positions up here. I'll take it. But again, I'm not taking it based off the fact that it is a head and shoulders. I'm taking it off the fact that I'm assuming that we get that. Now they got some tweezer bottoms in there too. I kind of want to go right there. 317.43. But this again is a little bit of a bounce spot. Apple's even getting a little love here. NVIDIA is above the 10, also above the VWAP. AMD did break that little resistance zone. And that looks so far, well, let's see where Apple closes, but that looks like a bull trap on Apple. This would be an interesting short on NVIDIA as well. Somewhere around 462.33. Yeah, I mean it's not confirmed yet because the candle's still open. But here you have a decent support on Apple, right? So you got just massive sell-off, right? Massive sell-off, then you're just kind of hanging out. Now you have almost tweezer tops down here, a little bit of hesitation. You have a decent candle looking like it's about to break bullish. So if anybody's like, hey, you know what, this selling is just way too much, probably overdone, where do you think a lot of people, especially scalpers, might throw their order entry? Probably somewhere right above these 2 candles, right? So this candle trapped them all in. We'll have to see where this candle closes. But this one trapped them all in. If they close back below this line, whoever took that breakout of that wick, they're trapped. And then as soon as you start getting this little breakdown further, now every single person during that indecision, high wave period, anybody that tried that breakout, they would be all trapped if this happens. Right? But it depends on where this candle closes. So it's still open. So maybe by the end of this is not a trap. Otherwise, it's closing kind of like right back in there, and that would look very interesting for a bull trap. I kind of want to move these. Yeah, I got some tweezers down there too. I might be able to move my entries up a little. Get a better price. 317.43. Where's my original entry? 317.12. 317.04. I almost want to take that. 317.45. I feel like we'd come in higher on this entry. The question is this now too high to really be Inverse Head and Shoulders. I think the inverse Head and Shoulders is essentially off the table. I'd either want to move my entry up higher somewhere or cancel the meta trade. I think I might take the cancel. This is where you get some resistance. It's a little bit higher than I wanted it, to be honest. So I would now either have to go with 317.44 as my entry, or ultra aggressive 317.88. I'm gonna cancel the order. So cancel meta. Cancel meta for me. All right. Spot rebound right on schedule. Yeah, you got that little potential double bottom. Probably about the 50% retracement. It takes us really into this VWAP section. So 456.42 ish. We'll have to see where this thing wants to hold from there. But if you guys remember when I was talking about the fibs, not the fibs, the Elliott wave yesterday. And again, it's possible for something to do this, right? This the COVID balance on mostly everything looks like this. Huge, massive sell-off, and then just V bottoms. Like that could happen. Oftentimes, it's a little bit more rare, and also trickier to trade because you don't really get a good setup. Otherwise, unless you're just chasing it all the way down. Otherwise, usually after that big sell-off, right? Especially with this volume that came in, anybody seeing the Jolts number, they like it. The market starts to rally. They're playing the news. Great. You got high volume on that candle. And then this thing just ultimately starts selling off. Usually, any other bulls that are still trapped in this thing, as we get up a little bit higher, they're going to start to sell out for less of a loss than they're sitting at now. Just reposition themselves, reanalyze everything, and that should cause one more little sell-off. The interesting part about the SPY, though, and again, it is kind of acting a little bit funky, but we do have 3 big massive candles in a row. I mean, it's a definitely more bearish. It's a highway, but it's more bearish than anything with extra volume. So usually you could go like that as your entry order. I just don't know if I trust this first bounce. All right, Hector, doing some real estate stuff. So we'll see how the market. I don't believe this is a full bounce, especially when all of this move on the sell side. I mean, it trapped a lot of people in that candle, but everybody all day, every single person that went bullish at open on the SPY is trapped. Still, this should be your little retest spot. Could come a little bit higher into this VWAP, but I don't know. All right. Now you got Meta again. Another high volume candle. Gonna leave it do its thing for a little bit. Definitely bounce a little more than I wanted it to. MRK. J Blue looks weak. NCLH. Down 15%. Caterpillar. Nothing but green candles. Caterpillar, obviously just the strongest company in the world. And actually on Meta, if we go a little bit higher, anything past 319.17, I think we could actually get to 322.41. So I'd be flipping to a bullish sentiment on it, at least for a day trade. Google still looks good. Roku, I don't know, yeah, just inside day. Still actually down on the day, but Intel is giving some back. Cisco, nothing crazy. Shopify. Shopify was. I know Cinnamon was looking at it. We kind of wanted it somewhere in the $66 range. It looks like it got there and then did bounce. Luis wants to do a 10 EMA on Carvana, CVNA. And Mike wants to look at Amazon. I don't see where the edge is on Carvana today. Otherwise, there is a 10 EMA on this one. Again, this is your really only first bounce after a major sell-off. I don't honestly see it. Unless you're playing, I mean, Bulls did come in. They ran this thing up, gave it all back. I don't see a real big edge on that one. Amazon, AMZN. Nice little double bottom. Did break the uptrend. Again, we're fighting with the VWAP. Not sure if we're going to get that pullback, but I think I can't take it now. So if you want to go bullish, I think waiting for it to come back down into the zone, that would be a much better attempt after 1, 2, 3, 4 green candles in a row. On TradingView, what 10 EMA indicator do I use? I don't actually have a 10 EMA on. Oh yeah, I do. Yeah, 10 EMA. It says EMA 10 close. It should be the standard one, and then I think I just put in 10. I think you have to put in EMA. EMA. Put in moving average exponential. And then it should come up. Yeah, then Matt has one. His has actually more like actual indicators. The one I use is just legit the 10 EMA. Like it's just a line. Matt's does has like buy sell signals on it. Ron's in Carvana at 45. Nice entry. Market is a wild kangaroo today. You played 45 by 44. That's better than a 3-cent spread, Ron. In fact, are you feeling okay? I'm surprised you didn't do 45 by 44.97. All right, 44.39. That stop you could probably I would pretty much be at break even on that stop at this point. Good catch. SoFi is doing this thing. Wayfair's down a little bit. I think if Merck could double bottom, that might be interesting. You do have a 3-bar reversal down there. All right. So first little candle rejection off that VWAP. So far, getting rejected where we thought it should or thought it could. Doesn't mean that sentiment is more bullish or bearish. It's just kind of more psychologically speaking. And we'll see where the candle actually wants to close. Let's take a look again at Meta. Just making new highs. Okay. Lucian 264 is a potential. There's a nice pop for you for Carvana. You got 1.5. Fantastic. And you're out. I like it. Yeah, Meta's looking bullish. Yep. So again, my intention of going short was anticipating that this could actually get some kind of a rollover. And that would look more head and shoulders. But didn't come out, and 322.19, something like that could be a target. Yeah, it's first of the month. Stack some gains. So at this point, Ron, if you're at 1.5, I don't know if that's where you're at for the month or if you took other trades, but if you're at 1.5, you should not go negative for the month. August should be positive. Another little rejection off that VWAP. Lost 0.59. All right, so just under an R. This market is just, it's looking very, very extremely trappy. Delta's just getting absolutely clobbered. Dang, Delta. In high school, you was the man, homie. All right, we got kind of double bottomish there. I think we did the best we could on that short. This could be a little double top area on NVIDIA. Again, AMD is screaming. Again, I thought this was most likely to happen. Bunch of green candles in a row. Probably don't be buying that first dip. Now my question is, because that double bottom could still hold. And again, we don't know where this candle is going to actually close and if there's going to be any follow through whatsoever on this thing. I think if we start to break out of this 456.58 candle, though, I think the market will respond pretty positively to that. Amazon's over VWAP. Yeah, lots of green candles in a row. MRK has a 10 EMA bullish setup. That's a little bit interesting. 106.81. I would just go stop, I guess, low of the day, 105.59. I'll go 58. Can we get to 109 today? 109.27. That's possible. That'd be 2. Otherwise, we need 108.28 would be a 1. So we got to get through VWAP for that. Let me see MRK if we've hit any type of support. We are at support. My personal day trade MRK 106.81 by 105.58. Again, I kind of want this thing to rotate down again, to be honest, but the 10 EMA is there. Do have some level of support on this thing. What was bullish sentiment? Full on retests. I'm gonna have to take it though. East, and hopefully it just crashes before it takes me in. MRK. I'd be going for a 1.2 on this. All right, so I got that order out there. I'm going for a 1.2. So if I get filled, I'm looking for a 108.28, trying to stack some gains to start the month. And I got filled. How I got filled, I don't know. I guess on the spread, maybe. Should have been a little more patient, maybe. Trade, stop. 5.8. Right, target is 108.04. Nope, 28. 108.28. I think they grabbed me on the spread on that one. It was a bullish sentiment at the beginning of the day. It is a retest gap. It did retest. So on that note, I like it. You kind of wish we could have been a tad more patient. 58. Yeah, stop. And target 108.28. Gaps tend to get filled sometimes. Yeah, on occasion. That's what I've been told. So we'll see. NVIDIA, yeah, nice little breakout on the vids. So again, we did make some money to the short side of it. We didn't take advantage of the long. But at least we didn't hang in there too long for that. Price action was looking very strange on that thing. And even Tesla's getting a little steam here. So hopefully MRK can pick up some steam with it. The market, again, I think once we break this roughly 456, 58 zone on the SPY, that should be good for the market. Question is, are we going to get there? I don't know. This seems like a big old trap day. I think we just got another $2 to the bullish side on Meta. And if that was the that was if that was it, that was the big rotation down. I don't know if I believe that. That would be a strong sell down. We had a day like this. Was it last week or 2 weeks ago? I think last week. It was just straight up, straight down. I think Amazon was doing it like crazy one day. It was Amazon. It's only green candles followed by only red candles followed by only green candles. Yep, but Nvidia broke. Kyle is in on Nvidia 464.09. Okay, so you caught that before the pop. Nice job. And Tesla, if this market wants to go bullish, I'm just not a believer yet, to be honest. MRK is completely flat for the day after some bullish sentiment at the open. Let's see if this thing wants to get bid up. I think Tesla. I think you could have the ability to lean both ways on Tesla and make a very good case in both directions. I think it's just more of a inside, just still chopping. But I'd be a little bit more bullish as well, bullish to neutral, I think. But does that mean it's not going to pull back throughout the day? No, I don't. I think it's very fair. The one thing, I mean, again, this is still a very good resistance spot. This is where we first kind of broke down originally, so that should have been support. Now it's resistance. We start getting above this candle on Tesla, yeah, I think we have a good chance to maybe even hit highs of the day, if not break through. But this is also kind of double topping right into that little resistance. The one benefit is we did get some candles to finally close above that pivot, so this is our first new higher high. This is also where Lucian, I think, wanted to get in. Cancel the order, but that's where you said. That's what you told me. All right, but I'm in MRK, and so far not working yet for me. I think I'll stop is in a decent location, so that's not bad. And did I put this chart in Slack? I don't think so. Copy link. Paste. Okay. Nvidia just straight ripping. Quite the double bottom Nvidia put in. We were so close to our target too. We just need like a little double bottom lower would have been perfect. That's okay. Maybe Mark will get some love. GOG. Got 1.45 on that push on Nvidia. That's fantastic. Looks like it's still running. Still wants more. Anybody else still in anybody in Nvidia? Let me see this on the daily. I think first immediate target where we probably hit some resistance 469.45. So we'll see if we get some candles that start closing above that. That could be outstanding push on Nvidia if we could. Just saw break even again on MRK. Caterpillar up 7.4% on the day. J Blue. All sorts of weak. GPS. So the gap filled the gap. No pun intended. Doobie, Inside Candle, Shopify. But again, that $66 spot was very interesting. Wayfair maybe had a little bit of support, but does look weak on the daily. Carvana, really nice move. Oh, not Carvana. Avis Budget Group. Avis. Throwing in some wild haymakers today. You got XPEV, Cisco. Not doing much. Intel, just hanging out. Roku. Can only go up. Boeing still looks decent on Boeing. Wow, Boeing actually did start to break that 240 zone and hit 243 today. 243 with a little bit of a pullback. Adam is going to try Tesla. A few more than 3 pennies. Not much more. It is Tesla. It is Tesla. That is still a very tight stop on Tesla. But 263.48. You're going to need this thing to work extremely quick. By 263.98. So you are looking for the short on it. All right. It did hit that resistance pretty hard. TNMA short on Apple. That could be a fun one. 132.28. 132.28 by 132.70. Not sure if it's going to give it to us. An extensive amount of shares they want. 132.85. Now the market's pulling back. Mark as well. So we got a 1 long, 1 short. 132.22 now. Not giving me the setup. Tessie doing some wild things. It's too quick for me, but that would have been the setup. 132.22. That would give us 1 long, 1 short, but just not the best close. The market hanging out in between some moving averages and the VWAP. So which way we break from here, I wish I knew. Bulls are trying to save Apple. I don't know if this is a double bottom from before, but if this is the new wave count, so if this is a 1, 2, 3. This is for probably get one more push bullish. The other angle of this one is what I would be terrified of if I was bearish or did get in bearish on Apple. If this is just the ABC or 4 or 5 from the previous down move, and this entire thing is a 1, 2, this next move on Apple is going to be crazy bullish. And I just don't know where we're at. Let me see if I can go back a little bit, see where that last count is. 1, 2. I guess that could be your 3, 4, 5. That's your ABC. I think this is your 1. This is your 2. And we can see an interesting looking pop on Apple. What's my criteria for scanning stocks? Basically, number one, anything, it has to be above $5. So I want something above 5. Anything below $5, you get a little bit of the ability for some people to come in and pump it or push it around, things like that. Same thing. I kind of want at least 2 million in volume on average traded daily. Again, just to kind of avoid, number one, anything under 2 million, it's lighter volume. So technically your spreads are a little bit bigger on that. And then you want something a little bit more liquid as well. So this way it's easier to get in, get out. Also a lot more difficult to kind of push around. I keep pointing to, yeah, you're 1,000% correct. I got so excited. I just look at the A and I'm like, I have to take that. But yeah, Amazon. Yeah, I do use FinViz. Correct. For the most part, like I'll do scans, but more so for like swing trades from FinViz. But that being said, yeah, probably for the most part, I'm using what I'll actually use, I like a lot is, and not for the actual comments and concerns of other potential almost kind of traders, but stock twits I think is pretty fantastic to find out what's kind of trending. At least I would take any comments made in stock twits with a grain of salt. So you're gonna get people like, this stock is going to $1 billion. You're like, oh, it's at $1 right now, so I don't know. But it's either like some crazy awesome trader commenting who's been trading for years, or little Timmy sitting in his basement in Ohio, just throwing out some cat memes. One of the two. But at least you could get some decent idea of what's moving, because then the volatility would be interesting. So I do like to see what's trending on that. But otherwise, for some criteria basis, yeah, FinViz is a pretty good scanner. Stephanie says, is Rivian swing trade? Oh, in Rivian swing trade, would you consider selling a weekly 21 put or 33 covered call, or just wait it out? If it's a swing trade and you've gotten into the swing trade with defined risk, meaning that you know where your entry is, you know where you're trying to target, you know where your stop is, I would not sell cover calls or buy puts. I would either take what the market gives me on the win or take the loss. The main reason for that, so let's say, let me pull up. It's a good question. I've been asked this one quite a bit, and I've always refused to answer until now. It's exclusive. So I don't know where you got in on the swing. Right. I don't know where you got in on the swing, but let's say you had an amazing trade on this one, and you got in even on the break of that. So you get the gap fill there, you got your stop down here, whatever the case is, right? And you're saying my target is $32. Great. So you're definitely positive on the trade, right? You're looking good. You're pretty far away from that. The problem with this, if you were to sell some calls, right? So you want to sell some calls at even your strike, $32. I know that's not your strike, it's just hypothetical. But let's say you want to sell it. Great. You're going to make the money from here, right? From selling those calls. And then if you want to take it, yeah, you could buy some puts. Like that's fine. But this stock could come all the way back down from the amount of money you'll gain between the two. Um, even if you don't buy the put and you just buy the call and you're just locking in the gains, you're still potentially losing a lot more. You can't really move stops, right? Because once you have a covered call in place, uh, you just really have to wait till that thing expires, or you have to buy back that covered call. So I would never do it. It gets a little bit more complicated if you're pyramiding into something. So if you're saying, okay, if this thing pulls back, right? Let's say this is your pyramid. It's a horrible looking triangle. But you're saying, cool, I want to buy 10, I want to put a total of, I don't know, 20K into this position, right? And you're saying, I'm going to put 10% of that allotted money at that price right here. I'm going to do 20% here, right? Something like that. If it pulls back further, this is 30%. And final 40, maybe somewhere down at this bottom, right? If you're doing something like this, it's different. So now you have a position build. You could typically, there's a couple ways you could get out of this once you're in. So now you get filled at this level here. Now you can buy some puts. Your average price is probably somewhere in this range, right? And then anything below it, cool, you have some puts to protect you. The idea of this one is you're really bullish on Rivian. You're trying to buy stocks that are typically in uptrends, just on pullbacks, right? And then you're pyramiding. So you could either have a set price, like, cool, now if it gets to this price, I'm just out. Or typically the better way to do it is you're going with pyramiding out. So if it hits this certain price, you take 10% off the table. So you're taking 10% of your position out, 20%, 30%, 40%, you're all out. But if you get filled on these positions, well, you kind of want all out there anyway, right? So that's where I would say, cool, sell the calls for up here, because that's where you want to get out anyway. And now you're getting paid to just wait for the position to happen. Yep. But on a swing trade, you're already getting in there with defined risk. So you're just trying to make extra money on a trade that you want to have the freedom to kind of move around a little bit. This looks like a good call. When do we move our stop on MRK? Luke says exclusive content. Yeah. Tell your friends. I can't really move stops yet on MRK. And again, I did kind of want to wait, and then I got aggressive. So wanted to see this one little pullback. I can't really move stops as of yet because there's no real pivot to come in. So what I'm hoping for right now, the trade's obviously still alive. I still like this right down here, by the way. This is a 3-bar reversal. I don't know if you guys can see it too well, but this setup right here, these 3 candles, this is a 3-bar reversal, which is why I like playing it with the 10 EMA. So essentially this candle opens up here. By the close of it, it closed actually a little bit higher than where it opened, and then all the activity is in here, right? So essentially you have a little bit of a hammer high wave candle. This is also a very good spot to come back for the retest, probably where we should have put our entry order, but I was playing a 10 EMA on it. And that's why my stops I wanted below this thing. If this stock comes down below this little spot where it should be its pivot, we're just going to lose the R. I don't know how to sugarcoat that any better. But I'm comfortable also losing an R if that happens. Otherwise, what I'm looking for is that's probably a fairly decent bounce spot on this thing. Right. So somewhere in here, there would be your bounce. This should give us a new higher low. Hopefully we get the break from there. And if we do, then I can get my stops up. We probably have about half R risk on the table. what do I think of Nvidia at 465? I think my target was 469 and change, and we got there. So unless we're going to start powerhousing through, I think on a wave count basis, this is probably. I think we have one more wave bullish probably, but this is I think 1, 2, 3, 4. Not sure how far we come down, but then I think we get one more bounce, possibly double top. But I think good resistance is right there. Um, Stafford says, "What do you recommend for learning candlestick patterns? I need a refresher." Um, I would go. I would do a couple things. You could do it for some of them for absolutely free. One would be go to retake the beginner and intermediate courses on real life trading. Those are 100% free, no cost for you, freemiums. But Jeremy does a great job of going through different setups. Also location, besides actual candles, I mean location of to where the candle comes in is extremely important. So I would take a look at those and just kind of refresh it if you have not already. There is the PDF. So Lewis has the PDF for candles. I would do go to TradingView. I would do as much back trading as you possibly can. I've been trading for a while. I'll still back trade a lot because I want to get comfortable as much as possible with how the candles move, what the sentiment is behind them, and all that. So for me, back trading, the more screen time you could get, whether you're paper trading live markets, whether you're back trading through TradingView, that would be highly recommended. And then for other avenues that might not be free, we do have. If you're going to purchase one of the videos online, probably get the back trading marathon that Jeremy did. It's a long video where he goes through a bunch of trades through back trading, explaining the candle sentiment, so you can see kind of you'll get the analysis as you're seeing the candles develop on the screen. So I think that's a powerful one just to kind of refresh and just go through what the candles mean. And then we do have different mentorship groups, one-on-one coaching, things like that as well. So where we kind of run through it more personally. With any of the mentorship groups, we do have usually it's about 8 people in the group. So it's not like an exclusive thing where it's just one-on-one, but it's not a lot of people. So you get your questions answered. We go through some of the back trade. Depends on which group you're interested in, which mentor will teach different things. But any of the mentor groups would be good. And then if you do one-on-one coaching, obviously then it's more exclusive and it's legitimately working with somebody one-on-one. Those free classes are 100% free and 100% worth the watch. Yeah, and the crazy part is the second time you watch it, it's still free. It's that's I mean, how did even with inflation, we still keep it free. That's crazy. That's crazy. Let's see. Yeah, that would be my target area. Yep. Probably be looking for. So I don't know where we want to draw the fib on Nvidia, right? So I'm not sure if you're in this thing yet or not for Nvidia, but I would say if you're getting a pullback, this move kind of really started here. So this would be my first little fib, and you're at that 618 now. So this would be generally an interesting area to see what happens. Again, you did just kind of put some inside candles in before we broke out, but that's really where this move started. So you're at that 618. Past that, if you're like, hey, it's still kind of too high because your targets are not too far away. But I would be looking at, in a bigger picture, your first move actually started here. This would be your top. So it's got the ability to come down to even that the VWAP, which is somewhere around 463.65. So obviously, if you want to wait, be patient. Keep in mind, you definitely could get skipped, but this is going to get you a much better location for some kind of entry to take it up. Better risk to reward on the trade. Otherwise, I could make a case that this is decent if you're going to get that small little pop. I would prefer just to miss this one, see if this thing comes back down to here, and then look to play it up again. Come on, Tesla, 262-ish, 260-ish. Is that your target on it? Power just your power, as we're answering your question, your power went off. You missed everything. Everything is recorded, so that's good. I think basically the consensus was definitely go through. First of all, get that PDF. That's free on the dashboard as well for you. I would take the beginner, intermediate, and then if you're going to try to get like a premium course, I would recommend the back trading marathon that Jeremy did in terms of candle sentiment. Otherwise, there is also the mentor groups coaching available for you as well. But the main thing is, I mean, start to obviously learn the candles, learn the patterns, reversals, things like that. But nothing beats screen time. Back trade as much as possible, paper trade as much as possible. That will all come in handy. Another 3-cent miss on Tesla. 3 is apparently your number today. I would say you should probably play the lottery, but I don't think they'd just let you play with one number. Be like, all right, what number would you like to pick for the lottery today? 3. And then what else? No, just 3. But we picked 7 numbers. No, just give me 3. That's it. Finally got in. Are you going short on Tessie? MRK not looking so great, but again, still got chip in a chair at this point. And this is also a lot of red in a row. So I can't move my stops when there's this much red. All right, so Adam's already in. Lucian, maybe getting filled yet? So this hopefully puts a double bottom. You're in Mark with me? Yeah, it's still got that double bottom potential. So we'll see. We'll see. Ride or die. Yeah, I don't really have a stop placement yet. And I still like I'll stop. So if it's going to the low of the day, but sentiment was bullish. It did retest. I think we're at an okay zone. We'll see if we get any love after so many red candles in a row. And the market has been essentially pulling back the entire time as well. So not getting the additional market support on it. But if we double bottom on the SPY, that could be helpful. This is still a very nice retest spot, right where we're bouncing. We're trying to bounce. Now you got Tesla. That should have filled you, Lucian. You might have got, maybe not, actually. You are in, okay. 263.28. All right. Trying to play the retest into that VWAP. I forgot how slow of a trade market is. I mean, I've traded Merc before, and it's usually kind of just a slow grind, which I kind of forgot getting in. But even that, it wasn't really that much of a slow grind today. It was actually doing decent until it top ticked me before the pullback. We'll see. But yeah, we'll need some kind of bounce or rotation. We're gonna move this stop. Now one of your what are you doing over there, Stafford? How, where do you live? Do you have like a storm or something? Is that why the power went out? AMD worked as a swing. You must have like the let's wait for a minute there. Got it working again. It's like the Wizard of Oz, like tornado blowing past your house. Straight up cows flying by. You're like, I kind of like AMD trade though. I don't know. All right. Seeing if we can find a little bit of support on MRK. So far, not yet. Could do an add reduce down here too, but I'll just let it be for now. You're in Toronto. It's been hot here as well. It has been brutes magoots. Sunday was actually decent. Sunday was like a little bit cool. You got some breeze. Every other day it was just you walk outside and just melt. Straight melting. 1.2 on AMD short. Nice. Tried to hold for more, but got scared. I could see why. You're fighting definitely a bullish trend on this one. I think you could get one more pop bullish too. So yeah, if you are shorting, that could be tough. So this would be your 1, probably your 2, your 3, 4. I think maybe one more push, double top. That's probably what we'd have to look for. Hey, we finally got a green candle on MRK. So that's, I mean, as exciting as it could get with MRK, I think. Here it puts in, let's see, this candle size is 105.59 by roughly 1, so that's almost a 70-cent candle. Since we've got in, we've done nothing but like 3 penny candles. At least we don't get 70-cent candles in the wrong direction, at least not yet. Felix says, in general, when you take your gains, 50% plus returns, are you asking for day trades or swing trades or long-term investing? For day trades, my R is 200. Yeah, so percent wise doesn't matter when you're trading. So if you have a $200 R, right? Essentially anytime you're trading, you want, let's put it this way, you would like to be a horrible trader and still make money in the market. And if you could achieve that, you're golden. Right? So let's say every trade you take is a coin flip. Essentially that's what trading is, right? And nobody knows what's going to happen once you get into a trade. All you're trying to do is use a lot of the technical analysis to support resistance. Where did people buy before? Applying psychology to who's being trapped, who's not, who's going to be emotional. And you're trying to give yourself a slightly better chance than a coin toss, right? You're trying to find out where the better spot, better location is for you to get in to give yourself a better risk to reward on a trade. That being said, what says when I get in guaranteed loss, at least, but that's consistency, which is good, you know. But if you're doing a coin toss, right? Let's say SPY looks absolutely terrific here because there's a hammer Maybe there's a double bottom. Okay, great. I'm going to put my entry here, right? And stop down here. Do I know that this is the exact best location for me to get into a trade where this is going up higher? Based on any possible technical analysis, the fundamentals, the news, whatever case, we have no idea, right? As traders, you're not supposed to know. You're just playing it because it looks good on the charts and it's at a good location and there's good reason for you to get in and you think that this is where it could happen, right? But now this stop location, if you're out, the most you could lose if your R is $200 is here, right? So now what you want to do is you want to put the odds in your favor of if you're going to just do nothing but flip coins for a living and you have a 50-50 chance. Okay, so how do you make this math work? Well, anytime that you're in a trade, you want to win more than you lose. So if you're going to lose in R because the trade just didn't work, and no matter how great the setup is, that could be the case. But if the times that you win, you want to win at least more than you lose. So you're trying to typically want to hold in there for at least maybe a 1.2 minimum, right? As much as possible. And not every trade's going to work there. I think yesterday I had a trade for like, I don't know, we made like 3 pennies on it, like 0.1 R's. So it's going to happen, right? But your goal is to try to hold as long as possible for this, because then for every trade that you take, okay, great, you made 1.2, you lost 1, right? You get 0.2 every single time you trade after 2 trades. All right, now do the math, right? Okay, what if you do 100 of those trades every single month? If you trade 100 times, 50 are wins, 50 are losses, 0.2 times 50, there's your R's, right? So not saying that that's where you definitely have to take all your profits every single time, but generally speaking, when I'm looking at a chart, for me, I like to look for, okay, does this trade have the ability to hit 2 R's, right? Because now if I'm looking for spots and if I'm looking, it doesn't matter how great the setup looks, I need to check out where the possible resistance is. Is there other pivots where I think people are really going to start taking their profits? Is there certain VPOCs that are very heavy on resistance? And if that's the case, and I know my 2R I need on Google, let's say I need to get to 132 when my entry is 130.75, right? So I'm trying to enter here. This is my target, but there's a ton of resistance in the way where that 2R target is very difficult. I probably just won't take the trade no matter how good it looks, right? Because if I'm able to now say, cool, I want the opportunity to get to 2Rs. I want this to be a very possible reality. And if not, then I'll lose my R. Great. Do I get 2Rs on every single trade? No. But what's more than likely to happen? I should be able to lose less than an R, be able to move my stop up, lose half an R, get back to break even, get a little above it. Maybe I get my stops up, and the worst case I could get on this trade is now 1.2 Rs. And great, comes down, stops me out. Okay, so I didn't hit the 2, but I'm definitely still locking in above the R. Right, I'm getting more than I'm losing. So that's typically where I'm gonna go. If you're looking at a trade, and I'll do this a lot too, and I'm like, yeah, okay, my target on Google is 132. I'm still getting in at that, whatever we said, 130.75 zone, right? So entry here, target is here. Based on where my stop is, the stop is more important than the target. Like, is it for MRK? Yeah, if we start breaking the lows of the day, which is where my stop is, it's probably just not going to work, right? It's probably going to go a bit lower than where we want, so I might as well just get out, right? So I want to try to find a spot where I'm most likely not going to get stopped. And again, anything could happen, but if it starts to work in your direction, if I can now lose half an R on all my trades, right? But yet on my targets, I'm even locking in this 1.2. Okay, I'm looking pretty good on our P&L for the end of the year. If I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay, I want to try to get this 1.2, but now we got the VWAP in the way. We've got all sorts of resistance in the way. We might have a VPOC in the way, something like that. And this 1.2 is a challenge, and that's my really stretch goal. Then a lot of times, I mean, I might not be able to even get to that 1.2, and now I'm gaining, I don't know, maybe I can get a 0.8 Rs on the trade. right? So I'm getting a 0.8, which is still a win. That still looks good. But my next trade that I'm taking, I mean, that could definitely be a loss. And that's now I'm still flipping it where I'm taking 2 trades, 50% trader. I'm actually losing 0.2. The Tupac, is he still alive? I think he's still alive, Tupac. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I saw him at Walmart the other day. It's crazy. Um, so yeah, so it's not really percentage of like how much you're up in the trade. It's just if your R is 200, realistically, you probably want to be trying to get about $400 on the trade, right? Does that always happen? No, you'll probably get stopped out somewhere along the journey. Maybe you could hit this. If the trade looks really nice, you could probably push it up, maybe get 600. That's 3 Rs. So it's all R related, not more percent related. If that makes sense. And he's hanging out with Biggie. Yeah, they're all on an island somewhere, just chilling. I was up. I was up 211 and only ended up taking 60 with you this morning. Um, that's fine. That's fine. Because if you, first of all, you would have to know that 211 is the final spot for that bounce. In this case, I think you're talking about Nvidia, right? You would have to know, like, there's your final bounce. That's the most you're going to make on this trade, which is absolutely impossible to know. So if every time you get to 211 and you take it, there's a good chance that this thing keeps running and now you're missing out on what you actually was playing for the target. Right? But if you could get out and your R is 200, you made $60, you gave it as much chance as possible to get to your targets. I'm not so concerned because at the end of the day, you're still positive on the trade, right? We also, if we go back to that Nvidia chart, remove during. So if we go back to this chart from the morning, right? We were looking at number one was 2 Rs possible. So when I was looking at the chart based on where VPOX were, 2 Rs was possible. I was going to take everything at 1R or 1.2 because it was very close. It was very early in the morning. There was some stuff that could have came in the way to 2 Rs. If I could lock, timing is very important. So it's the first of the month. If I could stack some gains on that first trade, whether it's $60, whether it's if your R is 200, $400, whatever the case is, if you're stacking any type of gains, stacking wood in the beginning of the month is extremely important, right? Build a little bit of a cushion. And then as you build it up, you have 4 or 5 Rs for the month. Now you have the ability to let things run a little bit further because you're playing with house money, right? So on this trade, we're looking for this breakdown. This candle close in the red. This is a fantastic close for us. I was more concerned about this candle, right? But this one, no wick at the bottom, straight selling candle. And then they started to buy it there. Why? I don't know. I couldn't tell you. Right. But all we could do now is, okay, well, our stop was up here. Let's start bringing it down, which we did. We did. Let's see if we can get into the green area, which we did. And then we let it run. If we were just jump in and just say, hey, I made some money and you're just selling out, well, then you're not really giving your stock any chance to really follow through and kind of act as a plan. Right? If you keep taking everything at 1R, it's very hard for you to ever get, it would be impossible for you to ever get a 2R on a trade. Right? And then the other thing too to consider, so up here, and yes, I'm streaming online and there's a whole bunch of people watching, but up here where they have cash values, I don't just turn this on when I stream. This is always on. I never watch the dollar amount because the dollar amount is going to cause emotion. I have no physical attachment to any candles in the market. None. Like I don't, they're meaningless to me. So I'll never know where I'm at dollar wise on a trade because as soon as I start to flip this back on and I see the dollars going, there's going to be some kind of extra emotion. You're going to make money playing your chart, playing your plan, playing the candles. If you're playing specifically the dollar amount of what's happening in your account, it's going to be very hard to really hold a trade to targets, to where you want. Get that extra holding muscle, because it's just you will have emotions to money, because that means more to you than an actual candle. DJ, I appreciate your teaching. Do you have any guidance on the amount of funds you should trade with relative to overall wealth or liquidity, for example? In other words, what do you recommend someone start trading with in terms of a fund amount? I realize this isn't a one size fits all answer, but could be helpful to some of us. Adam hit me with some loaded questions. Loaded questions. The ending of your statement is absolutely correct. It's very tough to say like this is your golden amount of money that you need. And I'd also understand that people are in different situations. So some people have more debt than others. Some people will have higher income than others. Some people have more savings than others. Some people have student loans. Some people do not. Some people, they were all just forgiven. No, I don't think anyone's loan was forgiven. But I will say, yeah, very, very tough situation for that. And I think it also comes down to, so what I would do, and again, I don't know if you're planning on being if maybe you are already a full-time trader, or you have another job or source of income or anything like that. That's all going to depend on it too. Right. Do you have a house with mortgages? Do you have a business? You got expenses? Like all that's going to play into everything. So what I would say is determine how much money you need a month. Right. So determine, maybe you have arbitrary 5,000 in bills. Right. Maybe you got mortgage and credit card debt or whatever case. And you're like, I need $5,000 a month. And again, I'm not sure where your income's coming in, if you're working, not working, or if you're full-time or whatever. So, okay, maybe you have a current job and you're already getting enough to live off of, and you got some money to throw into the market to trade with. It could be $5,000, right? You could start with $5,000. You're going to have to be dealing with PDT rules because you're under 25,000. So that means you're only going to get 3 day trades every 5-day rolling period. So you might want to probably try to balance it with some more swing trades. And then when you can get a day trade in, great. If it hits, it is what it is. But you'd have to have your own kind of strategy built around it. If you have $24,000, right? If you have $24,000, you still face PDT rules. You need at least 25,000 to be in and out of the stock market as many times as you would possibly like and your heart desires. Right? So if you have the 25,000, that gives you a little bit more freedom, but don't forget, as soon as you drop below that 25,000, you're back in PDT rules. So you might want a little cushion. I would say for anybody, especially if you're doing this full time, I think it will be very difficult to do this full time, anything under 25,000, only because you are limited to the amount of trades, at least in the US. If you're international, I'm not talking to you right now. It's just in the US, there's PDT rules. So I would say probably looking for about 30K realistically will give you a decent cushion. But again, none of this really matters. If you have 5,000 in bills, what I would do is, and if you're starting out, day trade small. You don't have to be at, just because your account could handle 1%. So 1% of 30,000, that would put you at a $300 R. If you're new to trading or really just starting to focus on trading now, you don't have to have a $300 R. Have a $50 R. Have a $100 R. Right? Your most expensive lessons in trading come in the beginning. So if you could get that on discount, fantastic. Then more importantly than how much money you need in the account would be what is on average your R's consistently. Am I stopped out of this thing? No, not yet. I got about a 30-cent cushion on MRK. Write down every trade. Have a trading journal. There is a free sample one on the RLT website. but write that down. Know where you're at for the month. If you're saying, hey, I'm averaging 5 hours a month, that's a much bigger important number than knowing how much dollars you make. The dollars are they make no sense. The R's are going to be where it's at. So if I'm averaging 5 hours a month and I know that I have $5,000 every single month in bills, okay. Well, that means I need at least $1,000 R, right? I need at least $1,000 R just to cover my bills. And then you're just doing the math back. If I'm risking 1% on an account, okay, I'll probably need about 100K in the account if that's my average. If you're on average making about 10 hours every single month, well, then you could have a smaller R. You could have a $500 R that would get you to at least break even. Right. So that's how I would be thinking about it. Try to figure out and one of the first questions that any mentor group that we ask is, what is your why? Like why do you want to sit in front of the computer every single day if you're a day trader looking at candles go green, red, it hammers, trap candles? Like what is the purpose of that? Is this something that you're planning on doing full time? And if the most common answer is because I want to make money. Yeah, I think everybody is attracted to the market to make money, right? But what are you actually planning on doing with that money? Like, why do you need that money? Is it for more free time? Do you want to hang out with family? Do you want to end up getting another investment house, set up passive income, create generational wealth, give back to the community? Whatever it is that you want to do with that money, that's your why, right? So now if you have that in place, that could help determine about how much money you need. And again, maybe you're still working and your goal is to not have that same job anymore. Maybe it's just a side income and you love your job and that's fine too. And you want to keep it. Right. So everyone's a little bit different, but once you figure out what that why is for you, that will help determine how many R's that you need to make a month. By journaling, you go through like 3 months, what's your average. That will give you more of an estimate of what your R size should be to sustain kind of the progress and the track that you want to be on. Lori says, I want to learn the wisdom on trading. That's the most important thing. Wisdom is priceless. And that's why, like, every now and then, like, I'll get an email like, hey, do you guys got like alert service? Do you got like the text alert service? All this. I'm like, nah, that's not what we do. That's not what RLT is here for. Any of the alert services, and if I mean you're absolutely swamped at work and you get no computer time and you're just trying to get some trades, I'm sure there's a service for you. How good the service is, how reliable it is, I have no idea. I couldn't tell you anything. But even if you find the best service in the world, right, and they're just saying take Amazon at 132 and sell out here, what happens when you cancel? You still don't have any clue why you're taking a trade. So RLT, what we're more focused on is actually teaching you how to trade, obtaining the knowledge to be able to trade, do it whenever you want to. And then you can apply the information to whatever fits best for you. If you want to put it, if you know you're swamped at work and you from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, there's zero chance that you have to look at a computer or be able to day trade. You could, once you learn these candles, you could apply it to swing trading, give yourself a little bit longer time frame, time basis. You could apply all the same information to longer time charts, hourly trading, 4-hour charts. You could take the candle sentiment, the volume, all that stuff, and apply it to crypto, which is a 24-hour market. You could take it, play futures. So whatever your schedule is, and everyone I know has a story. Everyone's got a different background and availability to trade. But you could apply this to work around your schedule, which is crazy. So yeah, the information is more important than just hitting, and that's why too. If you're looking at it and you're just saying, okay, I need the $5,000 a month in bills to cover, that's my lifestyle, whatever it is, and you're looking at your account, you're like, man, I could only get a $200 R right now, and I know that I would probably need. I'm averaging 5 hours a month, So I really need to get to, $1,000 R if this is where my average stays. And the more you trade, that average will probably increase, right? Tweaking the plan a little bit, taking slightly different setups, just getting better at seeing things. Yeah, you probably start averaging more than 5 Rs eventually. But if that's where you're at now, and the most you could do based on your account, based on how much you have, is a $200 R, fantastic, right? If you have a $50 R and you have to get to 1,000, fantastic, right? You're not going to be able to do it today, but now you have a goal to what you're working for. Just building out the account, building it up, eventually getting it to that bigger number, and then you're home free, right? And the only thing that you have on your side that's going to work really well is time, right? You just know that it's going to take time to build it, and maybe if you are working, making additional income, you could take a portion of that, just contribute every paycheck or whatever to grow out the account. Time will increase quicker. Otherwise, you're just kind of battling back and forth, growing the account naturally, and you'll get there. So just because somebody might not be in that position today doesn't mean they cannot be in that position. Adam says, thanks for taking the time to respond. No worries. Like I said, first time ever. First time. It's crazy. Exclusive. Bow, bow, bow. Double bottom forming. We have a 5-minute squeeze building. We got a 5-minute squeeze going on. That would be fantastic if we do. I'm not there yet on the squeeze. Last 20 minutes, very insightful. I mean, I appreciate the comment, but that makes me feel like the last hour and a half before that, complete garbage. I'm just kidding. I appreciate it. Building, not there yet. Yeah, I mean, we're every single one of us, whether it's moderators on the mic, whether it's you guys on the other side of the screen, everybody is drawn to the markets to build something. Like we're constantly trying to improve ourselves, improve our lifestyles, improve what we could do, improve how we enrich lives. Like every day that we wake up, think about this, if you could get 1% better than you were the day before at anything, like how quickly things will change. Like where you are from now than 5 years from now is completely different. Right? And keep in mind too, wealth by itself, it's created. People create wealth. Like if you have a new house, like if you're saying, hey, I want to buy a new house, and you have $300,000, not even $300,000, but let's say this mortgage, yeah, let's say you have $30,000 for a new house, right? And the whole house costs $300K, right? And it's a brand new build. All right, so you put $30K into the house to get the mortgage. So everybody who now works for the mortgage company, they're going to be making money from you buying that house, getting it built, right? So the mortgage people make money. The real estate person who's selling you the house, they're going to make money from the purchase of your house. All of the laborers who actually build it, they're going to make money from actually physically building out your house. You're going to have all of the materials, supplies. So anybody actually making those supplies, those factories, those guys are all making money from your $30,000, right? So everybody who works for any of those companies, their family just got helped out. They're getting to eat. They're getting to live. They're helping to achieve their dreams, to their goals, right? And what did you spend so far? $30,000. Okay, great. Now the house is complete, is built. Guess what? When you move in, what's the value of that house? Well, it's probably still $300,000, right? You've increased your net worth, even if you're paying this thing back over time with mortgage. Okay, it's still there. Then the house goes up in value a little bit. You just created new wealth. So what did you actually spend on your house? You just transferred You just transferred one wealth from another. You've created wealth for all these people as well as yourself. And that's pretty much essentially what the stock market is, right? The stock market, you're taking something very small. I don't know why I did a two. I can't explain it. You're taking whatever you start with, which it could be $5,000, it could be $200,000. And both of those are very small. Because in 5 years from now, both of those amounts will be, ideally, as long as you're actually studying, following through, not just gambling in the markets, those accounts both should be much higher. So from wherever you start today, today's number is a very small number compared to where it could be in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, right? The biggest problem that people have of achieving wealth, it's not really that difficult to do. But the biggest, hardest problem is they just never start. They never start, right? There's always an excuse. I was gonna say I got a lot of friends, but let's be honest. I've got like 2 friends, but at least half of them always have an excuse, right, of why they can't get started. Yeah, I got rent due, so I got between rent and then I'm back on taxes. Oh, I got to pay the student loans off. I got this, that, the next thing. All right, so you telling me you can't save $10 a month? You can't even do $10 a month. You can't start somewhere. But then I see you post on Instagram like your $300 dinner you had, but you tell me you don't have $10. Yeah, but if I put it in the stock market, then it's going to go down. I'm going to lose it. Okay, but if you go out and you buy that the bourbon chicken, you're definitely going to lose it. Like, that's gone. So you tell me you can't free up anything? That's crazy. And the thing with investing is it's addictive, right? I guarantee you, somebody that starts with even $10 a month into the market, within 2-3 years, they're probably at like $200 a month they're saving. Right? They're gonna be like, wow, cool. Okay, I still have the money. It's growing. It's there. And that's why the law of wealth is save, at least pay yourself. Most people don't pay themselves. I covered this in the swing room yesterday. It's whatever you get, whatever you make, 10%, that's yours. Everybody always has the habit of paying off the bills, the credit card, going out to eat, paying for this, birthday party gifts, all of this crazy stuff. They pay out their phone bills, they pay out everything before they pay themselves. Right? So the minimum would be 10% to yourself. And if you could do 20% of what you get paid or what you make every single month, whether it's from trades, whether it's from working, I mean, you're going to be just absolutely crushing it. What typically happens, let's say you make, again, I'm just going to throw out random numbers just to make it easy for myself or math. Let's say you make $10,000. Let's say you make $100K a year, right? $100,000 a year, and you're able to save 10% of that. Right? So you're saving $10,000. I'm going to throw this question out for the chat. How much money do you have in 10 years? If you're able to save and you never get a pay raise, you never get nothing, it's always $100K you make every single year, you're saving 10%. What do you think you have saved in 10 years? Rhonda says 100K. Yeah, you should have 100K, but not even. Right? So now you have a full year's salary saved, ready to go for an opportunity. But don't forget, during that time, this is if all of your investments fell absolutely flat, you would have 100K. Most likely, you would have a lot more than 100K. Right? Because time value of everything, even just with the rate of inflation, even if I think Ally just moved their Ally Bank, I think just moved their rates from 4% to 4.25. Even if your investment is into something completely stable, relatively safe, you should be sitting at a lot more. If you're throwing that into the stock market on average, it's roughly about 9-10% a year, right? That you're making gains on. And then the crazy thing with anything long-term investing, anything after 10 years, it just your chart kind of looks like this. The first couple of years of long-term investing is like this, slow grind. And then after 10 years, you start to see some crazy increases, right? But you're telling me 10% you can't save? Some people crazy. Money Master of the Game, great book on this topic. Yep. Also, my favorite book, Richest Man of Babylon. Luke says, do you ever use the option chain to see if there's abnormal number of open interest at a stock price? For example, Palantir has 33,000 calls expiring this week at $20 strike price versus 5,000. Yes and no, around somewhere around earnings. I'll typically look. I think it's valuable on days where like options are expiring. Otherwise, I don't look at it too much. I know some like Tony might look at it more because he does more options. What happens if those expire worthless? Well, typically, well, there's two things on that. So one, obviously, if they expire worthless, whoever purchased those lose money, right? And it is a little bit of incentive for the market makers to have the least amount of people getting paid, right? So if you have $20 on your strike for Palantir, and this is your very extremely big bottom, yeah, market makers don't typically want to break higher, right? They want as many contracts to expire worthless because then they get paid. So there is some to that. Any of like you'll see like the big whale alerts and that I don't really buy into too much because options are used as a tool. Will probably most likely get stopped out on MRK. Options are like you don't know who's actually purchasing options or why. Right? You might have somebody with a $1 million position out there short on Palantir, and then their price they got in at $19.90. Right? And they have all that liquidity out there. So yeah, if this thing drops and goes crazy, that's not good. But that's great for them because they're all short. But they know, okay, if it breaks 20, I wanted some kind of insurance. So they might use those options as just some kind of hedge. So I don't use it too much, but there's some to that. Compounding is very possible. Yeah, very powerful. Yeah. And then again too so I know we kind of switched over. We're talking some long term, but again, day trading is your income, right? You're doing that for income. The long term, that's going to be generational wealth. So even if every single broker should have this is extremely powerful. The drip. This is the dividend reinvestment program. So if you have any of the companies that are sitting in your portfolio that do pay divvies, that pay the dividends, you're either going to get paid two ways. One is just straight cash that's going to land into your portfolio. Or if you have the drip turned on, it's going to take that money that you should be getting from the dividend and just auto reinvest it into that stock. So you're getting free shares of that stock that you own. This is a much better option than this. Because when you have the money, I think Robinhood lets you buy partial shares. Most brokers not. But if you're able to, like, instead of like, you'll see if you have 50 shares of something, divvies come out. Now all of a sudden you got 50.8, right? And it's just building up because now the next time the dividends come out, you're not just getting paid dividends on your original shares. You're also now getting paid divvies on the additional shares as well. Svetlana says, what are your thoughts on 401k through W-2? I'm employed and starting to learn about trading the market so I can replace my employer. Probably that's not a good statement to tell them on the interview, I would assume. But I started investing in self-directed retirement account instead. The question is, does your 401k have a match? That's the question. If they have a match, I would take the 401k. I would do the 401k over the self-directed. So find out how you could max that match out, because that's essentially free money. That's part of your compensation for work, right? So for every dollar that you put into they're legitimately matching up to a certain percentage of that money, right? Those are wild returns. Doesn't matter if the market goes up or down, you're automatically dollar cost averaging into it. Take the match. After you hit the max limit for the match, then have the self-directed. You match 4%. Yes, so that 4% of your 6% is free money for you. And then just be look into like their vesting period too. So usually you have to be in a company for a certain amount of time, and then the match increases, or you get so much of it, or whatever the case. But just know what that is. But otherwise, yeah, any of the matches essentially free. Uh-huh. Also, make sure you're doing a per pay period, per month contribution. They typically only match if you're putting something in that check, not for the whole year. Uh, yeah, I think when I had it, it was every single paycheck. But yeah, I don't even know if that was an option or not. We'll see. What's happening with PayPal flat? I think we got Johnny coming in soon, actually. Let's see.
Just waiting on you to take a breath there, brother.
I can't do that. You know that. Uh, PayPal is flat. Yeah, PayPal has got the drop and hasn't done much since. But market kind of looks flat too, though. We've had a little bit of consolidation on the market as a whole. So we'll see. What do you think about Mark? I mean, I know they're a drug company, and usually drug companies try to sell drugs to as many people as possible. And I think they're doing a heck of a good job. I might need some drugs after after this trade. It's just been pretty flat. Still in it. Didn't get stopped out yet, but hopefully we get a bounce somewhere.
I was about to take it, and then I looked to the left at all those little tiny, because I was wondering, all right, why isn't this thing moving? It, after that pullback of that retest on the 10, it's like, all right, why isn't this thing moving? And I looked to the left and look at all the tiny candles to the left, like yesterday beyond.
Yeah, we looked at that. We're like, and I've traded Merck before, and they typically move slow, but they did have earnings. They look good. There's some decent looking candles today. As soon as we got in, it went back to the normal Merck. So
yeah, the volume, and that's kind of what kept me out.
Yeah. So we'll see. I'm just looking for a spot to maybe move stops. I'm going to give it a couple more minutes, but I'm fully comfortable if I do lose a full R. I got the rest of the day to make it back. And we made some. I forgot even what we traded. NVIDIA, we made a little bit on that one. So even at the end of the day, if this is a full R stop, I'm still down less than an R, which is, I mean, I got to find a 1.2 somewhere, and that'd be easy. But hopefully we can run into a double bottom. We don't have to worry about it, and we can get some movement. It did retest, and it's holding some decent levels. So I'm just being very, very extremely patient with the stops, because if it does break low of the day, then it probably does go lower. So I'm giving it a chance.
Roger that. What is happening today in the life of Danny Janson?
Just hanging out with you guys for most of the day. It is my kid's birthday today, so it's his actual birthday. Okay. So we had his party on Sunday, but we gave him gifts on Sunday, and I think this kid, I mean, he's just turned 6. I think he's expecting more gifts on top of the gifts he got already, which is a good move on his part. So I don't know.
He's the younger one, right?
He's the younger one, yeah. So and he's like, hey, what do you want to do for your birthday? He's like, yeah, I want to go bowling, which is a phenomenal sentence because he's never been bowling in his life, so I don't even know how he knows about it. But
really,
he went to like his sister, had a friend's birthday party he went to, so he did see it, but it was like the most random thing I think he could have said. So we'll probably do that a little bit later today.
Are they back in school yet?
No, not yet. I think they got I think it's sometime beginning of September, maybe after, what is it, Labor Day is September.
Yep.
So after
they don't go back till then.
Yeah, it's I think the week after that or something like that. Yeah.
Wow. My daughter is heading today to her first day at school already.
You know why though, right? You know why Hawaii they're going back so soon is because nobody could tell what season it is there. So
I don't know.
We know as soon as it gets a little colder out, we're probably going back to school. Hawaii, they can't gauge it off temperature. So
She gets like 2 weeks of Thanksgiving vacation. She gets 2 weeks of spring vacation. So I think that's why they go back to school kind of early. I don't think the
Yeah, that could
public
be.
schools are.
Yeah, I think we get 1 week of each, so
Yeah,
that'd be probably about the 2 week difference. Yep.
she's in private school, so they do a little bit different.
They have the freedom. They can do whatever they want. Nobody can say nothing.
Yep.
So,
All right, brother. I already grabbed the screen.
all right, I'll make you a host.
You might have to stop recording. I think you're recording, yeah.
Yes. Let me attempt to stop that.
You got it.
I think because you already have the screen, you might have to. Oh wait, here it is. Yep.